Shalom, call Hello Allah Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua, which means all praises to Yahweh, which is the true name of the Heavenly Father, who you people ignorantly call God, by Hashem, in the name of Yahushua, which is the name of the only begotten Son, who you people ignorantly call Jesus Christ. Those are the true names of the Heavenly Father and the Son. Plus, I want to give a shout out, shalom to you, Akim, that's pushing and spreading his word throughout the four corners of the earth, who's also uplifting the names Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua. Shalom to you, brothers. Shalom also to the Israelite foreigners, the speckled bird, man, woman, and child, whose bloodline traces back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, our forefathers, though you may look like the heathen nations you're scattered amongst, which the heathen nations, as you see on this chart right here, the nations start from 2 on down. Those are the heathen nations. Also, if your lineage, your seed line goes back to these tribes right here, as you see on this chart right here, through the man, and if his spirit bear witness with his word and his truth, and you can receive it to the speckled bird, man, woman, and child, this does apply to you who are Israelites, though you may look like the heathen nations you're scattered amongst, because of the mingling and the scattering of these people in this chart. So you're going to have Israelites that look like the other nations, but they're Israelites because their lineage goes back to these tribes through the men, our forefathers as well, okay? Also, shalom to the few Aquafas, you sisters that do listen and learn. Shalom to you as well. To the elect of the nation of Israel, wherever you may be scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, who this word is going out to, shalom to you as well. To you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, you combine, consist, and make up the 12 tribes of Israel. You are the Hebrew Israelites, the chosen people of the Most High Yahweh and His only begotten Son, who you ignorantly call Jesus Christ. Once again, Yahweh Shah. And I got a clip, right here. I'm gonna play it, and I'm gonna get the scriptures. Yahweh Ratazah, this be edifying. It might be a little bit long, but it is what it is. The Spirit's it's gonna come out. So
I've asked our producer, Joe Ricci, to join us. Now, Joe has a PhD in history. So what we're trying to do, Joe, is visualize, right?
Yes.
For our audience, for ourselves who aren't experts on this, what Erdogan's vision is. Because people are saying that Recep Erdogan wants to essentially recreate the Ottoman Empire.
Yeah.
What does that mean? Can you show us?
Exactly. Let's take a look at the Ottoman Empire as it expanded over the centuries. Now, you're going to see it starting in 1300, and watch how it ends up in the year about 1700. Massive. So you see it covers here all of North Africa, the Middle East, Syria, Iraq, Turkey, Libya, where they're getting involved now, and all of the Balkans. So this is the Ottoman Empire at its height. So it's important to understand the context of what Erdogan's working in, what his internal audience is thinking of when they think about their past.
Yeah.
Just a few hundred years ago, they were involved in all these countries. Why shouldn't they be now?
And if there's a similarity about all these countries, is what? All particular religion.
In this instance, where they're expanding to now, Syria, Iraq, all Islamic. So just to give you a little bit of background, about 1,000 years ago, the Turks came to this region. They converted to Islam, and the first thing they did was to send all of their forces to, at the time, Constantinople, renamed Istanbul. In 1453, major important date, they took Constantinople, the heart of the old Roman and Byzantine Empire. That gave them the sense that they are the new Caesars. They're the new emperors. What they do after that, they expand into the Balkans. They take Bulgaria, Serbia, Greece. They expand against the Persians. They take Iraq. Against the Egyptian Mamluks, who are also Turks, take Syria, Egypt, Libya. Have all of this. And for centuries, they fight against the Western Europeans. This all changes. Colonial period, Western European nations expand slowly from 1700 to World War I. Ottoman Empire shrinks in size.
And by World War I, it's literally diminished.
By World War I, it's just basically what we see of Turkey today. Just a little rump in Europe and the big part of what we call Asia Minor or Anatolia. It doesn't include Syria. It doesn't include Iraq anymore, Libya no more. Just Turkey, where the Turks live. They don't have an empire anymore. They may want that back.
So let's bring that now to present day.
Present day.
For our comprehension's sake.
Sure.
He's looking at, as we're reporting, He's looking at Syria. He's looking at Libya. He's looking at a lot of these surrounding countries in what? We say create a new Mesopotamia.
Sure.
But essentially what he wants is to reach out across his borders.
Sure. You might want to say he's recreating the Ottoman Empire, but maybe he's just creating a buffer zone. Look, we've got Syria, Iraq, Libya, places the Turks were before, and they want to go back and secure their border region. They haven't been in these areas for a while. They're very dangerous, and they're basically empty.
By the way, this is interesting as well. We've just been given a note that says, and we talked about this a little while ago, and I think you're going to find this interesting, that Turkish President Erdogan and his counterpart, Vladimir Putin, have just attended a working lunch where the two have agreed. Let me read further here. Have agreed in a phone call to intensify talks on Syria's Idlib region to reduce the tensions and implement the ceasefire. Again,
big news.
It's interesting, but the problem is these conversations have been taking place all along, as we've been reporting.
Exactly.
In the end, Joe, when we look at this map, do you think his real intention is just, I feel small, I want to be big?
It's not maybe so grandiose, but yeah, he does want to be.
So what it is, you saw the clip. Basically, you have Turkey, which Turkey in the scriptures, they're Gomer, okay? Their biblical name is Gomer, as you saw in the beginning when I pulled the chart up. They Erdogan, or what is his name? Erdogan, because I always used to call him Erdogan, but whatever. He's basically he wants to build the Ottoman Empire, which that was the empire that was set up, that came to power after the Byzantine Empire, which was during the time of Rome, the ancient Roman Empire. And they're trying to build that up. And it's because right now, real quick, let me give the scripture. They see what? America, they see America, falling real quick. This Jeremiah 50 and 23. It says, how, actually, you know what? Let me get Isaiah 14 first. This is Isaiah 14. I'll start at 4. It says, that thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon. And right now, the king of Babylon, which is this America, which is Babylon the Great, Mystery Babylon the Great, okay? Virgin daughter of Babylon, like it says in the scriptures, many scriptures in this within this Bible, right? It's America. Okay, America is that Babylon the Great, right? And the king of it right now, you have Donald Trump in the White House, but above him, you have these elites. They're running the controlling the show, but we're just gonna go with Donald Trump, okay? Because he's the so-called president of the United States. It says, and say, how have the oppressors ceased? The golden city ceased. And why was America, that golden city? You know what? It actually brings me to let me get Jeremiah 51 verse 7, since it said that, This is Jeremiah 51 verse 7. It's on my mind all over the place. It says, Babylon had been the golden cup in the Lord's hand. And when was America so-called the golden cup? Right? Back, just going all the way back to the so-called transatlantic slave trade, when they had you so-called Negroes, okay, build this place up, okay? Then if you jump up from there, you had the whole, industrial age, all the factories, the car manufacturing, all that, okay? Down to, World War II, okay? The time you had the father, he could work, the mom stayed home, the kids, they would go to school. Okay, back during that time, that's when America was in this so-called good old days. But then you started getting toward the late 60s, going into the 70s. That's when everything took a turn for the worse, so to say. It says that made all the earth drunken of what? The philosophies. Okay, when everybody wants to travel, where's the first place they want to travel to? They want to travel to the United States, because what? They've been fed the American dream. They've been fed that America's streets is paved with gold. You could be all you can be. You could get rich like you could. Okay, that's what people have been made drunk of. Even our people. The nations have drunk enough of wine, therefore the nations are mad. Okay. Also, like I always bring up, the petrodollar. These nations, not only were they forced to use the petrodollar, but they were using it because they thought they was what they was gonna get, wealthy off it. They thought they was gonna eat too, which for a while they was. Okay. Now that's not the case. Now they find out that America, through all these treaties, these deals, these unrighteous decrees. Okay, the World Trade the World Treaty Organization, I believe that's what it's called, the WTO, the what else? The United Nations, all that. They thought, they was gonna be in on it too, but America is really reaping the benefits. So now they're mad. Now they what? They want their own pie. They want their own, slice of the empire, so to say. They want their own empire. Okay? Babylon is suddenly falling and destroyed. How for her take balm for her pain, so she may be healed. Okay? And this place isn't healed. This place is through on all levels. Okay, the economy's bad, the military sucks. It's not like it was, going back in World War One, World War Two, or even before that. Okay? Everything about this place that you once knew that was powerful is falling, is crumbling. Okay? And the Lord's mocking in that verse. We would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her and let us go everyone to his own country, for his judgment reacheth on to heaven and is lifted up even to the skies, man. And that's what they're doing. That's why you're seeing these countries that was once, dealing with America, what? They're breaking away, from the treaties. They're going their separate ways. They're not relying on American goods. They're not relying on American protection when it comes to military. They're not relying on any of that. Okay, what are they doing? They're making deals with Russia, or if they're not making deals with Russia, they're doing their own thing, like China was before they got hit with the coronavirus. Okay, but this place is falling. Okay, this is Jeremiah, what I was going to get earlier. Why is this actually? You know what? Isaiah 14. And let me pick off where I left off. It says that thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon and say, how have the oppressor ceased, the golden city ceased. And this is why the Lord had broken the staff of the wicked and the scepter of the rulers. Okay? The wicked being in what? The descendants, okay, Esau, Edom, which the descendants of Esau, Edom on the planet Earth today are the so-called Caucasian race. Okay? Caucasian man, woman, and child. Okay? They're the wicked. Okay? And the Lord is breaking your rulership. Okay? On all levels. Spiritually, mentally, okay? And physically. You know? He who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke, he that ruleth the nations in anger, is persecuted and none hindereth. Okay? Ain't nobody upset because this place is falling, besides the people that's in it, you Americans. Okay? I'm gonna jump down. Hell from beneath is moved for thee to meet thee at thy coming. It is stirred up the dead for thee, even all the chief ones of the earth. It have raised up from their thrones all the kings of the nations. These different leaders of these other countries, these different governments. Okay? And here's the point. All they shall speak and say unto thee, art thou also become weak as we? Art thou become like unto us? Okay? And that's the mindset these nations are in. Okay? They're in that mindset. Okay? That's why, they're making deals with other nations that America, okay, going back decades ago, wouldn't allow them to do. That's why, when America puts out a commandment to these nations that they better comply with their order, if you get what I'm saying, these nations back then, they used to comply because they didn't want to deal with America's military. But now they're willing to, cross the line with that, This is another scripture, Jeremiah 50:23. How is the hammer of the whole earth, which America is the hammer of the whole earth, right? Anywhere, any country, go outside this country. Go in these eastern these countries in the east. Who you gonna find there? America's military, because America's controlling the resources within these other countries. And let's say, you do like Saddam Hussein did. He tried to, basically he tried to stop, buying, oil, I believe, using America's dollar. He tried to go some other route with it. So what they do, they took him out. Okay? What happened to Japan and Nagasaki. You know, which you so-called Japanese are the what? Ammonites. That's your biblical nationality. Okay? What happened to them? The America bombed the shit out of them with the bombs that was called Fat Man and Little Man, them nukes. And what that do? It put fear on the nations. And America what? Got the America basically got the reputation of what? Being the ham of the whole earth, man. Okay? How is the ham of the whole earth cut asunder and broken? How has Babylon become a desolation amongst the nations? Okay? And that's what they're saying. So now, what you got? You got China, the Moabites. Now you got Gomer, which is Turkey. Okay, China thinking they was up next. You know, they think, they see that America's falling weak. So what they thought? They thought they was gonna become an economic superpower. But what happened to them? The Lord shut that down because of their pride, and also because you partook in the downfall of what? The Israelites, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. And they also said in 2nd Ezra 15 and 46, how you will partake of Babylon, how you Moabites will partake of Babylon, and that was hated in all her works and inventions. Okay, so that got shut down. So now you got what? Turkey thinking, they gonna come into power. Okay, with this whole illusion of Ottoman Empire. That's not gonna happen. Okay, that's not gonna happen. That's not in the scriptures. Actually, let me get Psalms 2. Because when America was in their prime, you didn't hear some other, these other leaders, these other kings or rulers of these other nations or other countries talking about, coming up like they're trying to come up. Okay? This is Psalms 2 and 1. Why do the heathen rage and the people imagine the vain thing? Okay? That's a you heathen raging, man. That's you imagining something, that's not gonna happen. Okay? Real quick. Yep, the word for vain is wreck, right? It says emptiness, vanity, empty, idle. But the point right here, if you could see it, it says emptiness, figuratively, a worthless thing. Adverbally, and in vain, empty to no purpose, man. Because this idea that you people of Turkey, Gomer, okay, you Gomerites, you have is vain, okay? This is Daniel's 2. And I'm gonna see where I'm gonna start at. Basically, you had Nebuchadnezzar, because I'm gonna skip to the point. He had a dream, okay, and he called all the magicians and the astrologers, all basically people that, basically like fortune tellers, or what do you call those them people that sit in that room with the hourglass and they tell you, your thoughts. Okay? You get what I mean. I forgot what it was called. Some sort of like a genie, and basically a majority of them of the land at that time. This was during the Neo-Babylonian Empire, ancient Babylonian Empire. Okay? They couldn't do it. So he had them, destroyed. So I'm just gonna start to the top. I was trying to make it short. I was trying to shorten it. Alright, so I'm gonna start at 9. It says, but if you would not make actually I started 7. It says, they answered again and said, let the king tell his servants the dream, and we will show thee the interpretation of it. The king answered and said, I know certainly that ye will gain the time, because ye see the thing that is gone from me. But if ye will not make known unto me the dream, there is one decree for you, for ye have prepared lying and corrupt words to speak before me till the time be changed. Therefore tell me the dream, and I shall know that ye can show me the interpretation thereof. The Chaldeans answered before the king and said, there is not a man upon the earth that can show the king's matter. Therefore, there is no king, lord, nor ruler that acts such things at any magician or astrologer or Chaldean. And it is a rare thing that the king required, and there is none other than that can show it before the king except God's, whose dwelling is not with flesh. Right? It says, for this cause the king was angry and furious. It says, real quick, and commanded to destroy all the wise men of Babylon. So he was mad. And the decree went forth that the wise men should be slain, and they sought Daniel and his fellows to be slain. Then Daniel answered with counsel and wisdom to Arioch, the captain of the king's guards, which was gone forth to slay the wise men of Babylon. He answered and said to Arioch, the king's captain, why is the decree so hasty from the king? The Arioch made the thing known to Daniel. Then Daniel went in and desired of the king that he would give him time, and that he would show the king the interpretation. Then Daniel went to his house and made the thing known to Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, his companions, that they would desire mercies of the God of heaven concerning this secret, that Daniel and his fellows should not perish with the rest of the wise men of Babylon. Then was the secret revealed unto Daniel in a night vision. Then Daniel blessed Yahweh, the God of heaven. Daniel answered and said, blessed be the name of Yahweh forever and ever, for wisdom and might are his. And he changed the times and the seasons, and he removeth kings and setteth up kings. Okay? The Most High is the one that does that, right? He giveth wisdom unto the wise and knowledge to them that know understanding. It says he revealeth the deep secrets. He knoweth what is in the darkness, and the light dwelleth in him. Right? And I thank thee and praise thee, O Yahweh, my fathers, who have given me wisdom and might, and have made known unto me now what we desire of thee. For thou hast now made known unto us the king's matter. It says, therefore Daniel went in unto Arioch, whom the king had ordained to destroy the wise men of Babylon. He went and said, thus unto him, destroy not the wise men of Babylon, bring me in before the king, and I will show the interpretation. Right? So I'm gonna just skip down to the point, because I don't want it to get long and boring. Jake got a small attention span. So I'm gonna jump down to let me see. This is Daniel's 2:27. Daniel answered in the presence of the king and said, the secret which the king hath demanded cannot the wise men, the astrologers, the magicians, the soothsayers show unto the king. But there is a God in heaven that revealeth secrets, and maketh known to the king Nebuchadnezzar what shall be in the latter days. Thy dream, and the visions of thy head upon thy bed are these. Okay? And what he's about to go into is it's basically future prophecy, which we're at the time we're in now. Right? As for thee, O king, thy thoughts came into thy mind upon thy bed, which shall come to pass hereafter. He that revealeth the secrets maketh known to thee what shall come to pass. But as for me, this secret is not revealed to me for any wisdom that I have more than any living. For there's 6 that shall make known the interpretation to the king, and that thou mightest know the thoughts of thy heart. Thou, O king, sawest, and behold, a great image. But this great image whose brightness was excellent, still before thee. And the form thereof was terrible. The image head was of fine gold, his breast and his arms of silver, his belly and his thigh of brass, his legs of iron, his feet of part clay, his legs of iron, his feet of part iron and part clay. So I'm going to show you the image that he saw. Okay? So bear with me real quick. Okay? So this is that image. Okay? This is the image he was speaking of. Basically, he was showing you, okay? He was showing you the image, and what this image shows, okay? Salakia. What this image shows is the heathen empires, okay? And the head, he said, was head of gold, is the what? The ancient Babylonian Empire, okay? Which you see the date that it rose and it fell. And they fell to who? They fell to the Medo-Persian Empire, which that was the breast of silver, okay? And the Medo-Persian Empire fell, okay? Which the thigh of brass fell to what? The Greeks. Which the Greeks was where you Edomites, you so-called white people, you got the start okay, and the coming into power, okay, was due through the Greeks, okay. That fell, and what do you have after the Greek Empire? You had the ancient pagan Roman Empire, okay. That's the legs of Arn right there, and now that fell, okay. So now what do you have? At the bottom, you had the feet of Arn, and it's part Arn and part clay, okay. Like it said in the scriptures, which it represents what? The divided Europe. The new, which in the scriptures, that's the new fourth beast. This is what we're living in right now. We're living in the feet, the time of the feet. Okay? And cause the fourth beast which represents what? The new, I call it the new Roman Empire 2.0. It's the revival of the Roman Empire. Okay? As it said in Revelations 13 and 3, how he saw one of the heads as it were wounded, and the deadly wound was healed. That's the Roman Empire coming back. The ancient pagan Roman Empire coming back is through America, NATO, and the EU. Okay, they make up the fourth beast, which makes up the modern Roman Empire, which you're living in right now. Okay, and the reason why I say it's part clay and part iron, because it will be half strong and half weak. Okay, within the EU, you have nations, that's economically strong. You have nations that's economically weak. Okay, nations that's military strong, nations that's militarily weak, if that makes sense. Okay, and you just had the Brexit situation where you had the Great Britain, which they were a part of NATO. It was a strong part, muscle of NATO. Okay, they just departed from the EU. Okay, they just departed from the EU nations. Okay, and now they're talking about a Frexit, basically France. They want teetering on making the exit from the EU nations as well. And what did the scriptures say? For a house divided against itself, okay, cannot stand. Okay, that's why it's part iron, part clay. Okay, so you're seeing the collapsing of this empire. Okay, and real quick, let me go back. It's all over the place. This Daniel's. This is Daniel's. Going back to where I left off, right? I'm gonna read it again. It says Daniel's 2:33. His legs of iron, his feet part of iron and part of clay. Thou sawest till that a stone was cut out without hands, which smote the image upon his feet that were of iron and clay, and break them to pieces. And which I'm gonna prove to you what that stone is. That stone is talking about who? Who the world ignorantly called Jesus Christ. Okay? He's that stone, and I'm gonna show you. This is Ephesians 2. I'm gonna get to the point. I'm gonna start at 19. This is Ephesians 2 and 19. It says, now therefore ye are no more strangers and foreigners, but fellow citizens with the saints, which the saints, okay, are Israelites, right? And of the household of Yahweh, okay? And are built up the foundation of the apostles and the prophets. And it says Jesus Christ, but his name's not Jesus. His name is Yahweh, okay? Himself being the chief cornerstone, okay? It's talking about, Yahweh. That stone is Yahweh. He's the chief cornerstone. And also you got the governing, okay? You got the body, you got the elect. It says, in whom all the building fitly framed together groweth onto an holy temple in the Lord. Okay, this is the temple, of your the Lord, man. Okay, so he's that chief cornerstone. So let me go back and read it again. Right, this is Daniel's 2:34. I'm gonna read it again. It says, thou sawest till that a stone was cut out without hands, which smote their image upon his feet. Okay, the statue you saw that were upon in the system. Okay, upon the feet that were of iron and clay, and break them to pieces. Then was the iron, the clay, the brass, the silver, and the gold broken to pieces. This whole the heathen structure period, right? You saw what I saw pulled up early, and became like the chaff of the summer threshing floors, and the wind carried them away, that no place was found in the wind. Actually, if you go into Jeremiah 51:1, it's going to the destruction, you know, that Yahweh Bashim Shah is going to send on this place as he's already doing, right? That no place was found for them. And the stone that smote the image became great, a great mountain, right? And filled the whole earth. Okay? So Yahweh Shah, that stone, okay, he's going to come back, showing you that he's going to come back and he's going to take down these heathens, chiefly Esau, even the so-called white man. Okay? And he's going to take down these heathen governments, okay, their rule that's established right now, okay, that we're living in right now, starting with the Edomites, okay, and he's going to establish what? His empire, okay? Nowhere in that did you see the Ottoman Empire, okay, coming up next. Okay, you heathens, you had your rule, you had your chance, okay? This Daniel's 7:26. But the judgment shall sit, and they shall take away his dominion to consume and to destroy it unto the end. Whose dominion? You Edomites, alongside the rest of the heathens that's tied to you. Okay? And the kingdom and the dominion and the greatness of the kingdom, which the kingdom of heaven, okay, is for you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. And the kingdom of heaven, let me read on, shall be given to the people of the saints of the Most High, whose kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and all dominions shall serve and obey him. Okay? And that's what's going to be set up. The kingdom of heaven. Okay? Which is for the saints. Which the saints, just to back it up, I always want to back it up. This is Psalms 148:14. Just to show you I'm not lying. Okay? This is Psalms 148:13, actually. Let them praise the name of the Lord Yahweh Bashim Shah, for his name alone is excellent. His glory is above the earth and heaven. He also exalted the horn of his people, the praise of all his saints, even of the children of Israel. Okay, a people near unto him. Praise ye the Lord Yahweh Bashim Shah. So that's who's getting ready to rule. Yahweh Shah is getting ready to set, okay, his kingdom up, his empire up. And who's going to rule with them? The saints, the 144,000, okay, which is the prophets, okay, the governing body, okay. That's who's gonna rule next, okay. And you're gonna have the rest of the Israelites that die on this side. They're gonna come back through the 144,000, okay, and they're gonna be ruling too. All of us are gonna be eating the kingdom of heaven. Real quick, I'm just gonna get that as well. It's gonna be on planet Earth, because you got a lot of people, okay, that believe that the kingdom of heaven is literally talking about a kingdom in the clouds. Okay, bear with me real quick. This is what's getting ready to happen. This is why you're seeing the destruction going on around the world, because Yahweh Shah is getting ready, okay, to make his second coming. Okay, real quick. Let me bear with me real quick. Hopefully I can find it. Um, bear with me. If I can't find it, then I just paraphrased it. But Um. Man, can't find it. Yeah, but the kingdom of heaven, I can't find it. It's crazy. The kingdom of heaven is gonna be on. It's going to be on the earth. Okay. It's not gonna be a sky thing. But continue on. The Lord's coming back to take down you Edomites and the rest of these heathens. That's behind you. That's why I also say his crowns. I mean, the Lord's gonna have many crowns on his head. The crowns represents these different kings he took down. Okay, and you Edomites are gonna be at the forefront of it. But speaking of Turkey, okay, before all this happens, before what I read to you happens, this has to happen. Okay, let me get this real quick. This is Ezekiel 38, and I started one. Again, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, the chief prince, and Gog, okay, is who? It's the Russians, okay? Who you know is the Russians today. The land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and prophesy against them, and say, Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, Behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal. So the Lord's against the Russians too, because they're Edomites too, okay? But the Lord, as it's going to say, he's going to use them, okay, for prophecy's sake. And I will turn thee back and hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth in all thine army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. So he's going to use the Russians as he's doing now, okay? He's going to turn them against what? America, okay? And he's going to go into his allies, alongside all the people that's alongside him, as it's going to say. It's the 5th verse. It says Persia, which Persia, you look it up on the Google, they're Iran, okay, the Iranians, okay? Ethiopia, that's Hamites, so-called Africans, okay? And you see Russia, they just did a summit, okay, with the African, the different African, with Africa, the many countries that's in Africa, okay? So that's been fulfilled and being fulfilled. And Libya with them, all of them with shield and helmet. Gomer, which is Turkey, and all his bands, the house of Togama of the north quarters, and all his bands, and many people with thee. Okay? Be thou prepared and prepare for thyself, thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto him. And why is Russia going to be a guard unto him? Because the Lord is going to gather them real quick. This is Joel 3 and 9. Well, I started at 1, then I'll jump down. This is Joel 3 and 1. For behold, in those days, which were in them times, in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem, which that's you tribes, you so-called Judah being you so-called Negroes, the head tribe, and also the rest of the tribes, going down. You got the northern kingdom, which consists of the so-called Latinos and Seminole and Native Americans, okay? All of us are in captivity, mainly under Esau, Edom, okay? I will also gather all nations and will bring them down to the valley of Jehoshaphat, right? The valley of judgment, And I will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom have scattered amongst the nations. And how did we get scattered? We got scattered for one, the curses fell upon us, but and the curses, if you go to Deuteronomy 28 and 68, for I will bring, how it says, how we will come into Egypt again, which Egypt, as I always say, is synonymous for the house of bondage, which bondage is what? Slavery. Again, with ships. And how did you so-called Negroes get over here? You got over here with ships. They were also, trading some of the northern kingdom, okay, on ships as well, okay. But you're mostly, when you think of the so-called transatlantic slave trade, what do you think of? You think of the Negroes. That's mainly who you think of, okay. But that's how we mostly got scattered and parted my land. Because if you look right now, who's in the land of Israel right now, which is our homeland, right now you see in the land of Israel, you see you see heathens in our land. They're polluting it, okay? You got the Amalekites, the so-called Jews, claiming to be, okay, the Israelites, which that's going off, and they're not. They're the phonies. The scriptures call them a bastard shall dwell in Ashdod. They're illegitimate, okay? The Lord knows that's not his people. You got some Hamites in there, and you got the Palestinians, them Ishmaelites, Okay, they're all claiming that that land's theirs. They're parting the land over there. They're fighting over that land over there. Okay, it doesn't belong to any of them. It belongs to you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. Okay, but what are we over? We're over here in captivity. Okay, so the Lord is gathering these nations to what? This Jeremiah 3:9. Proclaim this amongst the Gentiles. Prepare war. Wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up. Be your plowshares and the swords and your prune hooks and the spears. Let the weak sound strong. Assemble yourselves and come all ye heathen. Gather yourselves together round about. Let the cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Lord. Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. Let the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat. Down there where all the controversy is going on. You just had Turkey do strikes. Now you have Israel, those fake Jews over there. They just did a strikes on Syria, okay? And I believe it was Syria and I forgot the other spot. But it's going down over there in that region. It's hot down in that region. Here's the point. For there I will sit to judge all the heathen round about. Okay? So this is what's getting ready to happen. Put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Come, get you down, for the press is full, the fats overflow, for their wickedness is great. Multitudes, multitudes in the valley of decision. Decision. For the day of the Lord is near in the valleys of decision. The day of the Lord is what? The day of the heathen. When he's come to judge these heathen nations. In order for the Lord to make his second coming, okay, who you ignorantly call, the world ignorantly call Jesus Christ, what does he have to do? He has to, World War III has to pop off, okay? In order for his kingdom, his empire to be set up, the rule of the Israelites to be set up on the planet Earth, this has to come to pass, what I just read you, okay? That's when he's going to sit there and judge all these heathen nations, okay? This is 2nd Ezra 13. I started 1. And it came to pass at the 7 days I dreamed a dream by night, and lo, there arose a wind from the sea that it moved all the waves thereof. And I beheld, and lo, that man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven. And when he turned his countenance to look, all things trembled that were seen under him. And what's that talking about? It's talking about Yahweh Shah and the angels. Because they're going to be what? In them chariots. Which, if you don't know, the chariots are the so-called, what this world calls unknown flying objects, UFOs, okay? They're not UFOs. They're not unknown, okay? To us, we know what they are. They're IFOs because we know what they are, okay? That's basically the Air Force of the Israelites. Just like Esau and these other nations, they got the Air Force. It's our Air Force, okay? And whensoever the voice went out of his mouth, all they burned that heard his voice, like as the earth faileth when it filleth the fire. If you ever seen Independence Day, or you seen the movie World of the Wars, okay? I believe that's what it was called. With Tom Cruise, you had the scene where you had the people, they was in the middle of the city, and Tom Cruise was amongst them, and the UFOs, the so-called UFOs, the chariots, they was zapping, they was shooting fire with lasers at people. And what the people started doing, they started to run. They were terrified. That's really about to play out on the planet Earth right now. Because you still got people that believe, okay, aliens and UFOs. You're about to find out that's not what they are. And people saying, you know, it's other life out there. You're right. It is other life out there. Okay? It says, and after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of number from the four winds of the heaven to subdue that man that came out of the sea. And what's that multitude of men that was gathered? I read in Joel, the 3rd chapter, you know, on how they're gonna the nations, the heathen nations are gonna be gathered, okay, in the valley of Jehoshaphat. That's what it's talking about. Cause they're gonna what? They're gonna be fighting each other. They're gonna be fighting each other. Really, okay. It's gonna be a power play. They're gonna try to fight each other to see who's gonna be next to power. Okay. But I beheld, and lo, he had graved himself a great mountain and flew up upon it. But I would have seen the region of the place where out the hill was graven, and I could not. And after this I beheld, and lo, all they were gathered together to subdue him, were sore afraid, and yet durst fight. Okay, these heathens, they're going to go from fighting each other to teaming up with each other to fight against what? Yahweh Shah and the angels. Okay, the chariots. And they're going to be scared, man. Because this world has been deceived into believing that who you ignorantly call Jesus Christ, okay, is a so-called white man. But it's being found out that he's actually, okay, if he was on the planet Earth today, He would be amongst what nation of people? He would be amongst the so-called Negroes. He would be a so-called Negro today. Okay? That's going to scare him within itself, because you heathens, starting with you Edomites, you've treated the so-called black, Latino, Native American man, especially the so-called black man, in this country and throughout wherever we're scattered, like shit. Okay? And to see that a big, strong black man with, you know, chariots, technology that's out of this world to pop out of the sky, you're gonna be scared. Okay? Why you think when Jake get pulled over in the neighborhood by a police officer, you see he'll call an extra 3 or 4 police officers because they fear us. Okay? So imagine how much more when the so-called black man cracked those clouds, man. Okay? Plus the technology that he has. Those chariots, you cannot fight them. Okay? Those are from on high, man. Okay? The scriptures say, you know, the lords of earth, you know, quickly paraphrasing, and the lords of heaven, and we are of earth. Okay? These weapons that Esau and these other nations got, for one, the Lord gave them that, and two, okay, they're carnal, you know? They're fleshly. Okay? The Lord's weapons is spiritual. Okay? And lo, as he saw the violence of the multitude that came, he neither lifted up his hand, nor held sword, nor any instrument of war. But only I saw that he sent out of his mouth, as it had been a blast of fire, and out of his lips a flaming breath, and out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempests. Right? They shot lasers and fire out of it. That's what came out. And they were all mixed together, the blast of fire, the flaming breath, and the great tempest, and fell with violence upon the multitude which was prepared to fight, and burned them up, every one, so that upon the sudden of an innumerable multitude nothing was to be perceived, but only dust and smell of smoke. When I saw this, I was afraid. Basically, when they shot off, when the chariots shot at the armies, the soldiers, there was nothing left, meaning they were destroyed. Okay? This was getting ready to play out. Okay? The Lord is coming back to make war with you heathens. Okay, he's coming back for 2 things: destruction and salvation. Destruction to you heathens, to 2/3 of our people that don't want to get right, that follow the way of the heathen. Okay, and salvation to who? His elect. Okay, that's what he's coming to do. Okay, especially to set up the kingdom of heaven. Okay, and when he does this, he's gonna make a name for himself. Okay, he's gonna put you heathens, let you heathens know that you're not in control of nothing. That you didn't get power, you know, by your own self, you know. Real quick. Right? Um Slocky, bear with me real quick. Mm, I know what I'm looking for. Bear with me real quick. I hate when that happens, you know. You just be on fire, then you just, you know, you looking for that scripture and it just disappear. So let not the wicked exalt. Let me type this in. If I can't look for it, I'm just gonna continue on. Yeah, there it is. Call Lord Allah Yahweh Shemel Shah. Right? This is what the Lord's getting ready to do. The Lord's getting ready to put his name on the planet Earth, man. Because right now, you say Yahweh Shemel Shah to the masses of these people, even though this word's going out, what are they going to do? They don't know what that is, but they'll know who white Jesus, so-called white Jesus is, because that's what's been forced upon the world. That's what the nations have been deceived by. Okay? I'm going to get to the point. This is Psalm 66:3. Say unto Yahweh, how terrible art thou in thy works. Through the greatness of thy power shall thy enemies submit themselves unto thee. Okay? All the earth shall worship thee and shall sing unto thee. They shall sing to thy name. Come and see the works of the Lord, works of Yahweh Bashim Shah. He is terrible in his doings toward the children of men. He turned the seas into dry land. They went through the flood on foot. There did we rejoice in him. He ruleth by his power forever. His eyes behold the nations. Let not the rebellious exalt himself. Okay? And that's what you nations have done. And especially you so-called white people, you Edomites. Okay? You've exalted your pride is through the roof. You don't believe that you're going to go down. That's why you see the conflict going on in the Middle East, like happening like it's happening. You tell them what you think about what happened with Iran, okay? With the killing of the general. A lot of people say, well, what do you think if we go to war with them? What do a lot of people tell you? Well, this is America. We're going to come out victorious. We have the strongest military, okay? That's what it's gotten to, okay? But the Lord saying not to exalt yourself, but Esau Edom is just going to be Esau Edom, okay? Let me see, right? I'm going to get to the point. This is Psalms 9, start at 13. Have mercy upon me, O Lord, consider my trouble, which I suffer of them that hate me, that thou liftest me up from the gates of death, that I may show forth all thy praises in the gates of the daughter of Zion. I will rejoice in thy salvation. The heathen are sunk down in the pit that they made, and the net which they hid is their own foot taken. The Lord is known by judgment which he executeth. The wicked is snared in the work of his own hands. Okay? The wicked shall be turned to hell, a lower condition. He's going to put them in a low condition. Okay? Because you Edomites are going into slavery alongside these other heathen nations. If your line does not go back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, it does not go back to the Israelites by blood through the men. And the reason I'm saying that because you have Israelites that's going to look like heathen. Okay? Just to put that out there. Because I don't want to say all white people are white people. You have Israelites that look like the heathen. Okay? But these heathens are going to be, they're going to be brought low. And all the nations that forget Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, for the needy shall not always be forgotten. The expectation of the poor shall not perish forever. Arise, O Lord, let not man prevail. Let the heathen be judged in thy sight. Put them in fear, O Lord, Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, that the nations may know themselves to be but men. And that's what a lot of you heathens are about to find out, especially you Edomites. You're about to find out that you are just men. You're about to find out that you getting the power, a higher power, okay, was behind it. You taking down the children of Israel, there was a high the so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, there was a higher power behind it. This is what you Edomites are about to find out if you haven't already found out, and the world's about to find out. Okay? The only reason why our people were cast down like they were, the only reason why our people went through what they went through, was because we drove Yahweh Bashim El Shah to wrath. We broke his law, statutes, and commandments. Okay? And once this judgment come down, I'm gonna end it with this because gone a little bit long. That's how he's gonna get his respect on the earth, man. That's how his people as well. Because when Yahweh by Hashem El Shah is exalted on the earth, who's also gonna be exalted? Okay, his men, the saints, the Israelites. Okay. Psalms 46:10. Be still and know that I am Yahweh Bashim Shah. I will be exalted among the heathen. I will be exalted in the earth. Okay? So this is what's going to happen. Okay? So that's it. Call Halal Allah Yahweh Bashim Shah. Yahweh Ratazah, which this was edifying, which means Lord willing. Baba Gasha, Abba Babo, Abba Babo, Abba Ha Ayabia, Abba Ha Ayabia. Okay. Shalom to the elect.